Welcome back. In this lesson, we'll explore how to create and edit text, along with creating text styles in Figma. Welcome back. In this lesson, we'll guide you through using constraints to create adaptable and responsive designs for any screen size. To help you practice your new skills, we've included 2 exercises for you to complete. You can find the Figma source file below this video. So, what are constraints exactly? Think of them as a set of guidelines that instruct Figma on how your layers should react when their frames are resized. With constraints, you can ensure that your designs remain visually appealing, regardless of the device or screen size they're displayed on. To apply constraints, your object must be placed inside a frame. Constraints cannot be used on objects outside of a frame. To get started, select an object inside a frame and locate the Constraints section. Here, you'll find a clickable rectangle that lets you define how your object responds when the main frame is resized. Constraints can be applied along both the horizontal and vertical axis, offering you maximum control over your layer's responsiveness. Keep in mind that you don't have to rely solely on the clickable rectangle to set constraints. You can also establish the same behavior using the 2 dropdowns. The first dropdown determines how your object will behave horizontally, while the second menu specifies the object's vertical behavior. While using the rectangle is generally more convenient for setting constraints, you'll need to use the drop-down menus to apply the scale constraint. We have 7 identical green circles inside 7 identical white frames. However, each circle will behave differently due to the unique constraints we've set for them. Let's begin with the first circle, which has constraints set to left horizontally and top vertically. This means that when we increase the frame's width, the circle remains on the left, and when we increase the height, it stays at the top. With the main frame now larger, our circle is no longer in middle, but the constraints remain unchanged. Moving on to the second circle with center constraints, meaning it's set to center horizontally and center vertically. When we adjust the frame's width, the circle moves horizontally to maintain its central position. Similarly, altering the frame's height keeps the circle centered both vertically and horizontally. As you can see, the circle stays perfectly centered even though the frame size has changed. Now let's examine another example with constraints set to right horizontally and top vertically. As we change the frame's height, the circle stays at the top, while adjusting the frame's width causes the circle to move with the frame. Next, we have an example with left and right constraints and a top constraint. As you can see, horizontally, there are constraints on both sides, while vertically, there's only a constraint from the top. As we modify the frame's width, the circle attempts to stay on both the left and right sides, resulting in its width changing along with the frame and transforming into a new shape. When we adjust the frame's height, the object remains at the top due to the top constraint only. Next, we have scale and scale constraints. The scale constraints determine the circle's size and position as a percentage of the frame's dimensions. So when we alter the frame's width, the circle changes width too. However, unlike the previous example, it doesn't try to stay on the left or right. It simply aims to preserve the same proportion. The same thing happens when we adjust the frame's height. Technically, our circle remains in the center, but becomes larger in size. The resulting shape appears more rectangular because we created the circle from a rectangle and applied a 53 pixel corner radius. As the object grew, 53 pixels were not enough to maintain the circular appearance. Next is the bottom and center constraint. This constraint will keep our circle horizontally centered, but it will anchor it to the bottom of the frame vertically. Lastly, we have left and right plus top and bottom constraints. When we increase the frame size horizontally, the circle attempts to stay on both the left and right sides, changing width along with the frame and transforming into a new shape. Similarly, when we adjust the frame size vertically, it behaves the same way. Great! In the next lesson, we'll apply what we've learned by working with 2 real-life examples.